right? He commits crimes. He's a vigilante, but he has some sort of code that he follows, and I just really like the characters that have
Makes sense. Marvel or DC?
code. Gotta go, gotta go Marvel. I love Spider Man when I was a kid. Got a funny picture of me dressed up as Spider Man when I was real little.
So, funny story. Have you seen that Mr. America was going on a few days ago?
No,
No, Mr. Universe. Mr. Universe was going on.
I didn't get a chance to watch Mystery
So
Universe.
Mr. Universe was going down a few days ago, and Mr. America came dressed as Superman,
Okay,
and he got backlash.
really?
Yeah, because everyone was like, "This isn't a." Americans are making fun of him. Like, this is not a costume show.
Was he the only one that showed up in a costume?
Because everybody else came as their own. Like, there's people that came in with the reeds and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
people from Thailand came in with their stuff. And then somebody came with a spear.
Okay.
I feel like if a Kenyan made it, they would come with like their Masai thing and the shield and whatever.
Right.
And then he just came in and.
I get the idea. Maybe it just wasn't quite well executed. Could have been Captain America. Probably would have been a better way to go about it if you really wanted to. Well, I mean, think about it.
Oh
For
no!
America, what would you dress up as? America is a melting pot,
It
right?
is, but Captain America? No,
What
why?
would you, if you were him, what would you have worn?
I want to say a suit, but I don't think that's English. I feel like the British are supposed to wear
Yeah,
suits. Yeah, I feel like
yeah.
that's them. I don't know. Oh no, but not a costume like that.
See, now it's got me thinking because truly, like, it is. That's what's so beautiful about America is, beautiful. I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword
Mm-hmm.
because it's beautiful in the sense that we have so many different groups of people that have come together, right? That come from all different kind of backgrounds, walks of life. Um, and I say it's a double-edged sword because someone from Kenya, for example,
Mm-hmm.
they say I'm Kenyan, right? Someone from America, the first thought isn't necessarily I'm American, right? It's I'm black, I'm white, I'm native, right? I'm Hispanic, I'm Hawaiian, Tongan, right? And so I think it's beautiful that we've found a way to bring all these different cultures together, but it's tough to try and solidify an American identity. That's kind of what we're
I agree because one of the things that I realized when I first came here was it's such a mix. You don't know where nobody is
struggling.
from. There is all different kinds of accents. There is all different kinds of height and weight. It's just crazy because like I want to say like even in Africa we do have a mix of it, a mix of culture and people and stuff. But I don't think it's as mixed as America. It's very different. Yeah, it's actually very
So,
different.
like, let me ask you: if
Mhm.
a white individual from South Africa would they go and they introduce themselves? They say, "I'm South African."
Mhm.
Is that true?
Yeah, because we
Yeah.
have white South Africa.
Right. Okay.
But now I learned this recently, like a few years back. So white South Africans also is, I think it's two sectors, if I'm not wrong. So there's the Boers, so the Afrikaners, and then there's the English white.
Okay.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
I had no
I
idea.
learned that and I was like, wait, what? Aren't you all like African? Like, no, it's like stereotypical. Yeah, so that's like, I think like how there is Black Americans. I think there's Black Americans and African Americans.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, again, you're kind of splitting hairs, but like, yeah, there is a very fair argument to be made. Like, I'm an American who is from Africa,
Okay.
and then I'm an American who was black, born in America, right? So that's kind of that unique aspect of it.
But this is the debate, or this is where I my brain goes on a spin. A Black American is not a native. The history of it is the Black people brought into America, right?
Right.
So Is it right for everybody to just call themselves African American, or is it because maybe you are generations later than you can call yourself Black American? You got what I mean?
No, I definitely do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think might be a hot take, but I think that all of these conversations, in our lifetime as we grow older, will start to become less and less because I think I'm of the opinion, barring any sort of dramatic event happening, there's going to be a lot more people that start to look like myself, right? That you have black, white, Native American, Hispanic, all these different pools of people that come together to make, one person. So then where does that leave us? If 30 years from now, everyone starts to look the same.
Yeah, and I think one of my episodes that I'm gonna have, I'm still looking for somebody who can come on the show. I'm gonna talk on intermarriages and interrelationships as well.
Mm,
Because say 40, 50 years ago, it wasn't as crazy as it is now.
right.
For instance, you find well, the normal mix that we always knew was black and white,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I have come to learn that there is black and Chinese, um, leave alone just Africa or even just color on its own, like you will find a Spanish person who's married to a Portuguese,
Right. Yeah.
right? And they have a kid. So this kid is half Spanish and Portuguese, right?
Yeah.
Then this kid goes and meets somebody in Tanzania, for example, who's Swahili, and then brings that into the mix, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that kid goes up. Like the mix is crazy right now. So
Yeah.
I feel like 50 years from now, we won't even. I don't think that conversation will be there. We'll be talking about it like it's history.
That's exactly how I feel, and I feel God willing, if things in this world start trending in the right direction, people will start to recognize that you know race was in fact something that we created, right? When God created the earth and created humans, right? He didn't create us with a thought in mind that we were going to be races to go against each other.
Yeah.
We're all seen as God's children, right? And so, that's my prayer is that as things move along and we all start to assimilate together in our own cultures, that
He created.
right.
That's the thing. And I feel like a lot of it, I think we should never miss that. We are just like him. Just if we can look past the color and how somebody looks like and how somebody thinks they should be, the world would be such a great. It would be much better.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
That was a great start. I love it. So we're gonna jump right into it. Oh my god. And we already jumped into it.
No, that was quite an open.
We're on that. Okay, I haven't dated. I had not dated since 2023, and I only recently started dating. So in November, right?
How's it going?
It's okay.
Yeah.
I've gone on dates with three different guys, but I liked one.
Okay.
I liked one especially, but things didn't turn out the way they were supposed to. But I'm putting that out to the universe. If he's meant to come back, he will.
Come back. She's an amazing woman. Seriously, you're missing out. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've also struggled in kind of the dating aspect of things, and I think that's one of the leading things that led me to actually look into creating Matchup. I like to say that if it wasn't for my last relationship not working out, I would have never really even considered it.
How bad was it?
Oh, it wasn't bad.
Okay.
No, it wasn't bad at all. She was an amazing woman. I think that kind of like you said, we both had a lot to figure out personally, and I think that's at the end of the day, I think that's what it all boils down to, right? If somebody does something wrong, right, chances are it's because there's something missing for them, right, for them internally. So yeah, no, it didn't end badly at all. It was just one of those things that we had to go our separate ways.
Yeah, I think I've had that as well. I think that, no, I think I'm pretty sure that was one of the reasons when I said, you know what, I'm going to take my time. Maybe it's about time I spend on my own because before that person, before I started dating again in 2023, I was with somebody else for a very long time, and then I think I was like, maybe I was used to a certain You know, when you're with somebody for a long time, you're used to a certain routine, certain structure, and then after some time, getting used to somebody else becomes really hard. So I took 2 years to just find myself.
Mm.
Troubles. I traveled a lot. I spent a lot of time with myself. I worked out when I could. It was really good. So I did that for 2 years, and I started dating again in November last year, and that was nice. I casually I kept dating, right. So one of the things I did was I traveled a lot. I tried to spend a lot of time by myself. Not that people were not wanting to date. I was happy talking to people, but I didn't want to do that because also I didn't want to lead anybody on.
Mm.
I hate that because
Yeah.
the reason why I hate the reason why I hate doing that to somebody else is because I don't want to do somebody to do that to me. I'm the kind of person that says, and I say it all the time, I would not. What I ask for, I would easily give back in return. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a very heavy thing because I'm of the opinion that we cannot expect others to give us back what we would give them because we're two different people, right? It would be unfair for me to expect you to have the capacity to give the same amount of love that I give you, right? But I think what makes love so special is that it doesn't have terms, right? If it's real love, there's no terms to it. Right? It's just like we work well together. I do this for you, and like it. I don't know. I think that when you get stuck in I mean, I know personally I've gotten stuck in that. I've felt that resentment in a relationship where I just know I would have never done that to you. I know that I would have done.
It happens. It happens to me. Story time. I recently got ghosted.
Ooh.
Yeah, that hurt. But it hurt for like a day. And this is the thing. I had a conversation with my best friend. I said, "Do you know what my problem is as well? As much as this person ghosted me, I got over him within a day.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? But we just started dating.
How hurt were you?
I was really hurt because I like this person,
Sure.
and this person was really into me. So we were okay today, and tomorrow he disappeared. And I said, I thought we were vibing. Was there something else that I didn't know, or did I read more than I should have? And then that's the problem with ghosting or getting ghosted, because then if you are the one who's ghosted, you are left with so many questions. You're like, well, why did this person do this to me? What was the reason? Like, you ask yourself, like, is there something wrong or whatever? And crazy thing is, I even tried to reach out to that person just to check in on him, like, yo, because you just disappeared. We were good yesterday. Yeah. I was like, okay, maybe something happened.
Are you alright?
You alright?
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, just let me know you're good, man. Like,
yeah.
Or if you're not interested, you can just say, you know what, I'm not in the right space. Maybe I eat more than I could swallow. Or you can just tell somebody where you're at and just.
I've had some of those conversations.
Right?
Yeah.
But we've never had that conversation. He's tried. He's in my DM sometimes, and I don't know why, because you ghosted me. Why do men do that? Why all that? Why do you play that game?
Because I think men are probably the most indecisive creatures on this planet. First of all, and I can speak that because I know that I am indecisive. Right? There's just so much going on in a man's head that I need to achieve this because I'm thinking about taking care of my future family, which means I have to do this, and this today. But then I fall in love with this woman over here. But if I fall in love with her, I know that my focus won't be on taking care of this, and this, so I can be here, right? Yeah. And so like we're always, at least in my experience, just bouncing around with like battling emotions, goals, societal pressure, all those different things kind of play into that a little bit. Not to excuse leading anybody on, just to be perfectly clear.
But I feel like me and him had a lot of things that we had in common. I remember we talked family, we talked friends, we talked investment. We were very similar, even in how we have invested ourselves, like financially, how he has invested himself and how I have invested myself. It was very similar, very similar. The kind of life we wanted was it was very similar. So if something, like for me to like somebody, it takes a lot. I say that all the time. It takes a lot because I'm very guarded. I mean, I'm guarded because of my past because of my experience in the past. And that's what also, when you do something like that to somebody, as much as they heal, we don't completely heal because, I always say it's like when you get hurt and there's like a cut over there, as much as the cut heals, there's always going to be like a little scar there or something to remind you. Even if the scar is gone, you're going to be like, oh, there was a time I used to have something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know why we're diving into that.
That's listen. And that there's a whole nother road to go down there. Because,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
We're talking about relationship trauma and
Listen, you say this is going to 2 parts.
It might be. Listen, stay tuned for part 2 because we got a lot to talk about.
A lot. Oh wow. Okay.
They're not looking for me, are they?
Okay, so I want to ask questions about when I started getting to know you as a friend. You have told me about your 5 core values of life. You want to tell us what those are?
Yeah. So my 5 core values are my faith, mental health, family, community, and then connection.
I think first I want to talk about is faith. Tell me more about that.
Faith is everything to me. I have had a unique journey in my faith. All the way from agnostic to atheist to exploring various religions throughout the world, and then now coming into uh, my own and my faith with Christianity. It steers everything I do every day. I it is my backbone when I feel like I can't keep going anymore.
I ask this all the time to everybody, what's your go-to word?
My go-to verse is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ. I love that verse.
Oh,
Just in a world that's
mine is First Corinthians 13. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, in a world that's different.
I was just gonna say in a world that's so difficult, it's always nice to have that crutch to lean on. But what you were saying, your
mine
favorite verse?
Is First Corinthians 13. Love is patient. I feel like if we could all love each other, we'd have such a beautiful. We wouldn't have the war that's going on. We wouldn't have people having to go for plastic surgery because they don't feel good enough. Because if you can be around people that can always tell you, I love you, you will start to love yourself because it is what we pour into somebody else that they end up becoming. So I believe that's how I believe it. So if you pour love into a child, the child will grow up in love. If you pour love and discipline into a child, and love is not just one way. But like I said, it's patient, it's kind, and it's not overbearing. And it's full of everything else. So if you can pour that into somebody else, you will have such a beautiful life to live. Because I mean, we're all here just to live a life. It's not nothing complicated, So
yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that for me, right, talking about love specifically, I believe that God is the embodiment of what it means, right? For instance, that verse, you could replace love with God, right? And so
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, please write that down. Because God is love because He is. When you look at just everything that He has created, all that He does, right? Whether it be tough love, nurturing love, everything that God does for us is out of love.
And so my next question was going to be: Have you had a time where you felt like your faith wasn't enough and love wasn't enough?
Anytime that I have stepped in my own way, anytime I've gotten in my own way, love, it's not that love wasn't enough or that faith wasn't enough. It was that because of that free will that God gives us to choose, um, I walked away from love. I walked away
from faith. And how? Tell us about maybe an experience. I mean, Lola, let me cook is when we get real. We say it all. There's no holding back. Whatever you feel like. One of the things about Lola, let me cook is we get very real about life. We want everybody to know that it's okay to go through this part of life, and it's okay to go through all this. Why are you moving the mic?
Am I quiet?
Ma'am. And this is gonna be the podcast. I'm not cutting the spot.
Actually, they can't even see me. Career.
All right.
They can't even.
They'll just see the mic moving that way and this way and that way. Okay. Alex.
Well, I can humbly say that I have been someone who has made a lot of mistakes. I have made a lot of mistakes in all different areas of life. I've made poor choices, you know, caused hurt, um, and so I guess one recent one that comes to mind for me would be I was enjoying my birthday off on vacation, and I was living it up a little bit. Me and my best friend, we went down to Cancun, and it was an amazing time. And it was at a time that I felt my strongest in my faith. I felt like almost a sense of like I'm good. Like I know who I am. And I know that. Yeah, exactly. But my experience, every time that we feel like we're doing good enough, right? God just gives us a little 2x4, right? And that's actually not my saying. I read a book. It's called "You Only Live Twice," and it talks about kind of navigating your faith with college sports and just all the different peer pressures around. But anyways, my 2x4 was in the form of being documented doing some less than prideful things uh, on spring break.
And, oh, it was spring break. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you get a pass, but okay.
No pass necessary. But needless to say, I didn't do anything, illegal or like, as far as the world's concerned, I didn't do anything wrong. But I felt like I betrayed myself. I felt like I betrayed, my Lord and Savior. I felt like I let down people who looked to me at that time to be kind of a beacon for what it means to revive yourself in your faith. So that was tough. That was a tough pill to swallow.
How did you navigate that?
Prayer, a lot of prayer. One of the first things I did when I came home after that was go and talk to our local pastor, Father Brian. Um, he's he's amazing. We did discipleship together. We did a study of the Book of Romans, which I am going to finish, by the way, Father Brian. I'm going to get that back to you. We have 2 chapters left to finish, and it was at the worst time to try and get that finished. But so yeah, a lot of prayer and just a lot of self-reflection, and more than that, just being understanding and graceful with myself.
And one of the things you also talked about, core pillars of your life is family. How does family come in that kind of family?
Yeah, I've had a unique family dynamic my entire life. So the majority, like early stages of my life, it was just me and my mom, and probably up until I was around 2 or 3. And I think that was amazing in the sense that my mom and I became very close in that, and more than that, my grandparents, her parents, and I became very close because I spent quite a bit of time living with them while she was working 2 jobs to try and get that foundation built to take care of me. Um, and then I think that I experienced something that a lot of kids in my shoes experience, right? My mom married my now dad, who has legally adopted me, and with that, there just naturally comes some struggle, right? Just like any family struggles. I think it's just a little more difficult when you're not all there from the beginning.
Yeah, family dynamic.
Yeah.
So, was it different? Do you see the difference now that you're older, or was it always that?
I think the difference now compared to when I was younger is I'm starting to grow into becoming my own man, right? And trying to that same like that code that we were talking about before. I'm trying to figure out what is my code, what is Isaiah's code for as a man personally, as God willing, a father someday, right? And so it's a different perspective, you know.
I love that.
Yeah.
And also, let's talk about community.
Mm.
I was watching the reel from yesterday, and you mowed your neighbor's lawn.
I did do that. Yeah.
What made you do that?
I think that again, the reason that my faith is number one, because what made me do that in that moment was that I'm a firm believer that we are put on this earth to work, to honor God, and to love our fellow man. And so when I had finished up mowing my lawn, and I was just thinking to myself, I can I could do that, right? Like I heard that they had just had a baby, like I could, and their lawn was growing pretty, it's starting to look like a jungle over there a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but so I was like, I can take that burden off their.
Okay, we're sorry.
That's all.
We don't know what that was.
But no, I could take that burden off their plate and mow their lawn, and come to find out that this family also had some struggles in trying to have a child. So that only made me feel more fulfilled that I could offer that to them.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'd also I have a cousin, and she's also had the same journey, and she shared struggles of having a child when she had a baby. She just recently had.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like I am very happy for her because also people don't know. I also before I had my daughter, I lost a baby. So